Yes, all okay. Okay, let's start. So in the last class, we have discussed about the nationalization of banks, and we have seen that the two times nationalization in India has been done by Government of India under the Bank Nationalization Act 1969. Right, and if I talk about the nationalization, these are the banks which were nationalized in 1969. Now, what is nationalization? First of all, the nationalization is simply a process, Hana, in which you are taking over, the government is taking over the privately owned companies. So when the government is taking over the privately owned companies, that is known as your nationalization. So simply, if I talk about nationalization, you can write like this. Also, do remember the banks that has been nationalized. Nationalization. Nationalization is what? Simply, we used to have the privately owned entities, है ना? Private entities, I can write, a privately owned entities, you can call them, when the shares, that is 51% or more than 51% shares purchased by, है ना? These shares purchased by government of any country, of whatever country we are talking about, this process is known as nationalization. This process is known as what? Nationalization. And the first nationalization I have discussed in the last class, it happened in the year 1969. Okay. No video. Is video is not available? Let me know. Is everyone having video issue? So if we talk about nationalization, the first nationalization happened in the year 1969, in which 14 major commercial banks were nationalized by Government of India, and these 14 banks were those banks which have minimum public deposit of 50 crore or more than that. The second condition, or the second time nationalization, has been done in the year 1980, in which 6 major commercial banks were nationalized by Government of India, and the condition to nationalize 6 more banks was 200 crore public deposit. So these are the 2 years when nationalization happened, and I have already showed you the list of the nationalized bank in the year 1969 and 1980. So now what is next we have to discuss? Next we have to discuss here, like, how many nationalized banks are present right now. So right now you guys all have said to me yesterday also that there are only 11 nationalized banks present now. Okay, at present, how many nationalized banks are there? Only 11. At present, nationalized banks, we have only 11 banks, right? So, and it used to be 20. Now, where are the other banks? The first, all the banks have been merged. All the other banks, all the 9 banks have been merged. So, first of all, if I talk about the first merger, it happened on 4th of September, 1993. 4 September 1993, first bank was merged, and that bank's name was New Bank of India. This New Bank of India was merged with which particular bank? It was merged with Punjab National Bank. So it was merged in PNB. Okay. So now, how many national banks were remained? 19. There used to be 20, but 19 after the merger of New Bank of India in the Punjab National Bank. Okay. Now, the second nationalization, or not the nationalization, the second merger of banks. Now, it directly happened in the year of 2019. In 2019, 2 more nationalized banks has been merged. And those banks were Dena Bank and Vijaya Bank. Dena and Vijaya Bank merged in which bank? Bank of Baroda. Right, in 2019, Dena Bank and Vijaya Bank merged in Bank of Baroda. This is the bank in which these 2 banks have been merged. So now, how many nationalized banks remained? Only 17, because 2 has been merged. Now, the third and major nationalization happened in April 2020. The third one happened on 1st April 2020. Right? In this particular year, or on this particular date, 3 major merger has been seen. The first merger was under the Punjab National Bank. So in PNB, two banks were merged. First is PNB. With PNB, it has merged the United Bank of India and Oriental Bank of Commerce. This is United, not Union Bank of India. Okay, this is United Bank of India. So after this merger, how many nationalized banks were there? 15, because two also merged. Now, the second merger at the same time was seen of under the Union Bank of India. Now, this is a Union Bank of India. Under Union Bank, two banks was merged, that is Andhra Bank and Corporation Bank. Andhra Bank and Corporation Bank was merged. This is Andhra Bank, not the Allahabad Bank, and this is Corporation Bank. After the merger of these two banks in the Union Bank of India, how many banks we have? We have 13 banks, right? Then at the same time, the third merger was there of Canara Bank. So in Canara Bank, we have seen one bank was merged, Canara Bank plus Syndicate Bank. Okay, in the Canara Bank, which bank has been merged? Syndicate Bank has been merged. And after this merger, we have only 12 nationalized banks. Now, apart from that, the fourth merger on the same date has been seen of Indian Bank with Allahabad Bank. Indian Bank plus Allahabad Bank. Now, this is the Allahabad Bank. Before this, Allahabad Bank was the oldest commercial bank in the country, which was still running. Okay, Allahabad Bank was the oldest commercial bank in our country, which was still working till the year 2020. But Allahabad Bank was merged. Now we have only 11 nationalized banks. And earlier, by Finance Minister Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, this decision was taken that the name, after the merger of Indian Bank and Allahabad Bank, the name will be given as a Allahabad Bank. But no, as we know the terms and conditions of merger, amalgamation and joint venture, the company who has major profit, or I can say major contribution, or have more capital, or have more liabilities or customer base, etc. So when it compared, the name has been decided as an Indian bank. Okay, so these are the mergers that happened after the two major nationalization of 1969 and 1980. So that's why we only have, these are the first 1993, second 2019, and the last one was 2020. Clear? Now these banks name with the which bank has been merged under which bank, that is also have to remember. Okay, now let's continue, and now we have to discuss the further phases of your financial system development. Okay, now we are going to discuss the further phases of. Yes, in 2020, 4 banks were merged. It means the 4 major banks were formed after the merger of certain banks. Okay, and which bank has been merged with which bank, that you have to remember. Now let's continue. If I talk about this particular point, this is saying another measure which was taken by government was setting up of the General Insurance Corporation in 1972 as a result of the nationalization of 55 private general insurance companies. So national banks were nationalized, life insurance company, or I can say the insurance company was nationalized at that time. Similarly, here the general insurance companies were also nationalized, and after 55 private general insurance companies got nationalized, the General Insurance Corporation was established in 1972. Okay, and similarly, formation of 4 public sector general insurance company was done here. Now, what are the names of those companies that has been formed? These are the public sector, right? First is National Insurance Company, second is Oriental Insurance Company, third is Oriental Insurance Company, and the fourth one is New India Insurance Company. So these are the companies that has been formed, and these are the 4 public sector companies of insurance sector. Now, what is public sector company means? These are the government companies. So first, LIC was formed after the all nationalization of the 255 companies. Then after 55 companies, we have formed the GIC. Now, a major step taken during this particular phase was that setting up of RRBs, regional rural banks. Achha, do let me know what was the reason of establishing RRB. Why we have established RRB? What was the reason? Because so many commercial banks were there. So many commercial banks were there who were working in the rural areas also, but still we have established the RRB. What was the reason of establishing RRB? Let me know. Till then, we will discuss a certain points regarding RRB. RRB, as you can know, these are the regional rural banks. These regional rural banks was formulated with the help of RRB Act 1976. So RRB Act was passed in the year 1976. But if I talk about, one second. Okay. But if I talk about when was the first RRB established, so the first RRB was established in the year 1975, and that date was 2nd October. And the first RRB named as a Prathama Gramin Bank. It was named as a Prathama Gramin Bank. Okay, this was the first RRB established in the year 1975. But the Act of RRB was introduced in 1976 due to the Emergency Act was not passed in the Parliament. After it was passed, RRB Act 1976 was introduced. But the first RRB was established on 2nd October 1975. If I talk about shareholding of RRB, so shareholding of RRB is divided in 3 shareholders, that is central government. Second, we have a state government. And third, we have your sponsored bank. So these are the 3 shareholders of RRB's regional rural banks: the central government, state government, and sponsored bank. If I talk about central government, how much shareholding central government will hold in case of your RRB? Let me know. How much shareholding will be with central government in RRB? Okay. 55. No, why 55? Yes, 50% it is. Hana, how much? 50% with central government, 15%, 15% with the state government, and 35% with the sponsored bank. Do remember the shareholding. Hana, and the reason behind making RRBs was what? RRB was made just for the upliftment of rural areas. If we talk about that, for the rural areas development, RRB was introduced. So development was used to be done by the commercial bank also. They are still doing the development of rural areas. But why we needed the regional rural banks? Specifically, why we needed the regional rural bank? The reason behind it was because we wanted to uplift the rural economy. And that's why a dedicated bank or dedicated chain of banks was introduced, and that was the RRB Regional Rural Bank. Okay, for the upliftment of rural areas. Now, there are only 2 states in our country where there is no RRB, that is Goa and Sikkim. Otherwise, everywhere RRBs are there. Now, so this is what we are saying. Apart from these all nationalization and all, one more major step has been taken to establish the RRBs in 1975. So these banks were set up with the aim of serving the rural population and promote the financial inclusion there. So this phase of development of financial system was also marked by establishment of development financial institutions. What are the development finance institutions? Like SIDBI is there, NABARD is there, Exim Bank is there, NHB is there. All these are what? IFCI is there. All these are development financial institutions. So Industrial Finance Corporation of India in 1948 marked the beginning of era of development banking in India. You can call them development bank, you can call them non-commercial bank, you can call them development financial institution. They all are same. They have a basic objective of developing a particular sector in the economy. Like if I talk about the NABARD, as you know, NABARD stands for National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Area. Okay, so NABARD is working for agriculture and rural area. If I talk about SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India, so it is working on small industries. If I talk about EXIM, EXIM stands for export import, so it's working for export and import. If I talk about NHB, National Housing Bank, it is working on the housing sector. So all the development bank, or you can call them non-commercial bank, they have the same objective of developing a particular sector. Acha, is NHB a wholly owned subsidiary of RBI? Let me know. NHB is a wholly owned subsidiary of RBI, yes or no? Let me know. Is it a wholly owned subsidiary of RBI, yes or no? Everyone have to answer. And those who are watching us on YouTube also answer. Is NHB and National Housing Bank is a subsidiary of RBI or not? Okay. Maximum answer I am getting yes. No, it is not a subsidiary of RBI. It used to be the subsidiary, but now it is not. NHB used to be wholly owned subsidiary of RBI. It means 100% capital to establish the NHB was given by or has been expended by RBI. But in 2019, RBI sold National Housing Bank in 1450 crores. To whom? To Government of India. To whom it was sold? It was sold to the Government of India. Okay, so in the year 2019, NHB was sold to the Government of India. So it is simply now a development bank which is owned by Government of India, which is working for the development of housing sector of the country. So this is now NHB. Okay, it used to be the subsidiary, now it is not. Acha, how many subsidiaries does RBI have? The subsidiaries of RBI. NHB is now not a subsidiary of RBI. Subsidiaries of RBI. How many subsidiaries are there? Let me know. How many subsidiaries are there? Four, five. Okay, different answers are coming. If I talk about subsidiaries of RBI, so first we have DICGC. Do remember now the DICC insurance claim is 5 lakh. Now it has been increased. It used to be 1 lakh, but now it is 5 lakh. Now second, BRB NMPL, under which the printing press of RBI comes. Okay, two printing press of RBI comes under this particular BRB NMPL. The third one is IFTAS. Fourth one is Rabbit. And the fifth one is Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. So these are the 5 subsidiaries of RBI. NHB used to be the subsidiary of RBI, but it is not anymore. So that's why RBI has only 5 subsidiaries now. Next, we are saying the structure of development banking consisted of both all India as well as state level institution. Under the State Finance Corporation Act 1951, the counterpart of the IFCI at the state level regional institutions, State Finance Corporation, were organized to assist the small medium enterprises. So IFCI was started, or I can say the commercial, non-commercial bank or development financial institution, we started establishing from the IFCI bank, right? After that, at the state level, we also introduced the certain development financial institutions, and that was named as your regional institution, State Finance Corporation. Okay, so that they will be focusing on the state level small and medium enterprises. Now, the establishment of ICICI Bank in 1955 represented a landmark in the diversification of development banking in India. Acha, if I talk about universal banking, let me know what is universal banking. If we are talking about ICICI Bank, the universal banking is a very common term. Whenever we talk about ICICI Bank, the terminology universal banking always comes in front. What does universal banking know? Universal banking means, let me know. What is universal banking? Global standard of banking? No. What about others? Acha, if you don't know the answer of any question, just write immediately. Don't know why we have to waste time. All banking facility available. Very, very good, Ravi sir. Okay, if we talk about universal banking, first of all, there are so many types of banking is there. Like the universal banking, para banking, door-to-door banking, relationship banking, Islamic banking, and then we have narrow banking, shadow banking, है ना? Different types of banking are there. And all these different types of banking has been divided as per what we can call it, as per the different types of services bank is providing, है ना? Because what is banking? Banking is the services or the functions which banks provide to its customer. So different functions, according to different functions, what bank is doing? Bank is providing them the different services, and accordingly the name of banking has been defined. So now if I talk about types of banking, the universal banking is a banking in which under a one roof, under a single roof, you are getting all kinds of services. Like you are getting commercial services, you are getting investment services, and ancillary services also. Like you have to go to the bank, like if you are going ICICI now, if you are going in any bank, you are able to deposit fund, you are able to withdraw fund, you are able to transfer funds, you are able to take the check, the demand draft, the demat account. You can invest in the shares, you can purchase mutual fund, you can purchase insurance, you can purchase pension scheme, etc. Everything is available under a single roof, and that is known as universal banking. And this system or this type of banking was introduced by ICICI Bank. Okay, so this is what we are saying, as it is a pioneer in many respects, like underwriting of issues of capital, channelization of foreign currency loans from the World Bank to private industry, etc. This is the additional work which is started by the ICICI Bank. Okay, so all these were introduced by ICICI Bank. This was the major, what we can call, development in the financial sector. Now, next. One of the important roles of Reserve Bank of India has been the setting up of institutions that fostered economic development. So these were institutions that had been hived off from different departments of RBI. So the institutions that were so set up include the Industries Development Bank of India, that is IDBI, 1964, NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, Exim Bank, both established in 1982, then NHB, National Housing Bank, established in 1988, SIDB, then it was established in 1990. And SIDB is the only bank which have its headquarter in Lucknow. Otherwise, no other bank has its headquarter in Lucknow. Okay, only the NABARD associate, that is BIRD, Bankers Institute of Rural Development, that is available in Lucknow. Okay, so all these development financial institutions was set up in the under this particular phase. Right now, in the arena of mutual funds, a significant step was setting up of the Unit Trust of India. So, Unit Trust of India was established in 1963 by an Act of Parliament. Now, also remember, this Unit Trust of India was divided into two parts, or we can say they have been divided. The first one is UTI mutual fund. The second is converted into bank. And then this bank later has been named as Axis Bank. Okay. Now, if I talk about mutual funds, what are mutual funds? Let's understand that. Mutual funds are very famous. And why they are very famous? Because they have a comparatively less risk. So maximum people right now, they want to invest in the mutual fund, and they think that this is a very good long time investment, and as well as a good returns will be available on this particular product. So if I talk about mutual fund, they are the professional managers. Hana, who are mutual fund? They are professional managers. What they are doing? They collect money. They collect money from various investors. Okay, they collect money from various investors. And what they do then? Then they invest money in diversified sector. After collecting the money from various investors, they diversified the money. It means they invest their money in the different sectors. Okay, and why they are doing so? Simply to minimize the risk. to minimize the risk. Like for example, let's take an example. For example, I have 10 lakh rupees and I want to invest this money in a certain market because I want to earn money on that. So let me know first of all, where should I invest this 10 lakh rupees? I have 10 lakh rupees. This is my savings and I want to invest this money. Now let me know what is or where should I invest my money? Let me know. Where should I invest my money? I have registered October 2023. Was you registered in October 21? You are saying, Jyoti ma'am. May 23 was fourth attempt. See, if you are able to clear all the other 3 subjects in one go in October JAIIB exam, then okay. Otherwise, you have to re-register yourself. Okay. Now, so share market, maximum are saying share market, gold and real estate, okay. In the derivative market, in the mutual fund, you are saying okay. So see, if I invest my whole 10 lakh rupees in share market, now what happened? Let's say share market falls. Share market falls. In that situation, what happened? In this situation, my whole 10 lakh rupees will be gone to the money. Okay, so this is what we have to do. So if I invested whole money in share market, there is a huge risk. I'm taking a huge risk. Like maybe chances, there is a chances maybe the share market falls and my whole saving gone to it. So that's why I'm not investing only in share market. I will invest in share market, the commodity market, let's say some amount of money in derivative market, some amount of money in insurance market, some I have deposited into account. Okay, some I have invested in gold, some I have invested in real estate, etc. So what I did, I have invested my money in the diversified sector. Why I have did that? So that the risk of loss will be minimized. Okay, and this is what the mutual funds are doing. So that's why you can say mutual funds are not risk free. They are risky, but there is a comparatively less risk. Reasons because they never invest the whole amount of money in a single sector. If they are doing in the single sector now, like for example, there is a mutual fund who is investing only in share market, right? In that situation, they will invest in different companies. They will invest in different sectors company. Some money in textiles, some money in automobile, some money is electronics, or some in other sector like ed tech sector. So this is how they invest. That's why the risk will be comparatively less. This is the mutual fund, Hana. So do remember this thing. What mutual funds are doing? They collect money. They do not invest their own money. They do what? They collect money from various investors, and their money will be invested in the diversified sector. By whom? By the mutual funds. Okay, next. So it was set up by Reserve Bank of India and functioned under the regulatory and administrative control of RBI. In 1978, UTI was delinked from RBI and the Industrial Development Bank of India took over the regulatory and administrative control in place of the RBI. Okay, so RBI has been replaced by IDBI for what? For the purpose of your control over the mutual funds, right? Next. So the first scheme launched by UTI was Unit Scheme 1964. Do remember this. Hana, the first scheme that was launched by UTI, it was the Unit Scheme 1964. Now, whilst on one hand, a plethora of steps were being taken to develop the Indian economy and give it a socialist color, the confidence of depositors was also required to be maintained here. So especially since there had been a number of bank failure in the past. So if we talk about here, Hana, it was very hard in the initial stages or in the initial phases to gain the trust of people. People were not trusting on the banks because they have seen so many banks were phased out from the banking system. They went to the loss. They have seen the failure of the banks. So they were not trusting there. So that's why it was very important to give a socialistic color in the Indian economy, so that your depositors' confidence will be gained back by the banking system, and then you can go to promote the financial system. So it was in 1960 that the failure of Lakshmi Bank and the subsequent failure of the Palai Central Bank, which catalyzed the introduction of deposit insurance scheme in India. So after that, we have introduced the DICGC. So Deposit Insurance Corporation Bill received the assent of President on 7th of December 1961, and the deposit insurance commenced functioning on January 1962, that providing an insurance of 1 lakh for every depositors, or we can say every customer. But do remember this also, when the DICGC was introduced, earlier it used to give only 10,000 insurance claim. Then this amount, that's why it has taken a lot of time. So the DICGC Act was introduced in 1961, as you can see, but DICGC was established in 1978. Now, why so much gap in the Act and your establishment? The reason behind it was because earlier they were saying only 10,000 insurance claim will be given. So it comes under so much criticism and etc. etc. So after the while, they have decided the 1 lakh amount. Okay, the 1 lakh insurance will be given to the customer. But after that, in 2020, RBI increased that amount. So now do remember, in DICGC, it used to be 1 lakh, but it has now 5 lakhs. It has been changed, and now it is what? It is 5 lakh. And this was done by RBI in 2020, February month. Okay. Next. So next point is saying it was during the phase in 1986, BSE first launched its equity index, that is Sensex, which was built up on the top 100 shares based on market capitalization. So first of all, BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, is the oldest and fastest stock exchange in Asia. And if I talk about BSE, it was established in 1875, and its name has been changed in 1957. It used to be known as Native Shares Brokers Association of India. Now, in 1957, the name has been changed to the Bombay Stock Exchange. And BSE is the oldest and fastest stock exchange of our country, right? So here, if I talk about the Bombay Stock Exchange, it has started its own, right? It has started its own index that is known as a barometer of Indian economy, and that is the Sensex. You have heard about Sensex so many times. So Sensex is based on 30 companies. How many companies right now there in the Sensex? That is 30 companies. And these 30 companies are known as a blue chip companies. Why we are calling them the blue chip companies? Because these are the companies which have more potential, which are providing maximum capital to the public, or I can say not the maximum capital we can say, but yes, they are giving increase in wealth of the investors. It means if you are investing in these companies, these are the top companies, and they are providing you the wealth increment if you invest in these companies. So the top 30 companies, or those companies who are regularly making it possible that the wealth of investors will be increased, because the share value of these companies are continuously increasing. So this is the Sensex 30. Same index was introduced by Nifty also. That is known as Nifty 50, and that is your 50 companies, but it was launched by National Stock Exchange. Now, the movement of Sensex since its launch till today, it itself a testimony of growth of the financial sector in the country. Now, if we compare from the time BSE was introduced, Sensex was launched, or till the time right now, so many development or growth has been seen in the Indian economy. So one of the major part of the development, it happened because of the capital market, because of the share market. Okay, so Bombay Stock Exchange has introduced its index as the name of Sensex 30. There are 30 companies. Similarly, National Stock Exchange has introduced its index, that is Nifty 50. So 50 companies are there. This 30 and 50 companies are what? These are your, what you can call it, these are your top 30 companies, top 50 companies. Because it's not only 80 companies are registered in the stock exchange. No, so many companies, 6,500 or 5,500 companies are registered, but they are the blue chip companies of the share market. Okay. Now let me know till now everything clear. Let me know till now everything is clear. Is there any other doubt? Okay, clear to all. Now next we are going to discuss about the liberalization. So reforms during the liberalization that we have seen was done in the fiscal sector, financial sector, industrial sector, or trade sector. Now first let's understand what is nationalization. Then we will talk about what changes has been seen after the liberalization. So first you guys let me know what is liberalization. First you let me know what is liberalization. What is liberalization? Acha, have you heard about LPQ? Have you heard about LPQ? Have you heard about LPQ? What is LPQ? Open to world is globalization. I have told you yesterday also, globalization means to link Indian economy with the world economies. It means open, you made the economy open for the export import. That is known as globalization. I'm talking about what? I'm talking about LPQ. So it is license, permit, and quota Raj. LPQ is license, permit, and quota Raj. If I talk about making something liberal, Hana, like if somehow you have heard somewhere that their parents are liberal, it means they are easygoing. Like they do not put any kind of restrictions or etc. rules or restrictions or whatever on their children. Like being liberal means being easy, Hana, making it easy for the people. So liberalization has done what? It introduced less regulations, less rules, less guidelines that make it possible to start more and more business in India and to establish more and more industries in India. So whenever we talk about industrial liberalization, it means making the rules easy, removing the restrictions, regulations, etc. And that was the LPQ Raj. So liberalization made the LPQ a thing of past. Hana, if we talk about liberalization, liberalization is the particular term that made the LPQ Raj a thing of past. It means it used to happen. There used to be the license Raj, there used to be the quota Raj, there used to be the permit Raj in the country. But now after liberalization, all these was introduced, all these was removed. And this is what the liberalization means. Okay. So liberalization is what? It is a broad term that refers to the fewer government regulations. You can call it a fewer government regulations. That is known as what this is the liberalization. Okay, liberalization means fewer government restrictions in the economy. That will be a liberalization. And after liberalization, so many companies are allowed to come to India. Like earlier, it was not allowed to have the FDI investment, foreign direct investment. Foreign companies were not allowed to invest in Indian company. The MNCs of foreign country, they were not allowed to start their business in India. They were not allowed to establish their business in India. But after liberalization, these restrictions have been removed. And that is what liberalization is. And I'm making the rules and regulation very easy. Providing industrial licensing very easily so that company will start their business. If you remember in 2013, the big industrialists of our country like Tata Birla, they have given a certain statement like it is very hard to business in India. Like if you want to start a business in India, you have to go so many departments, so many ministries. There is a lot of corruption, a lot of money you have to give to the people, and then you will finally find, or you will finally give, or you will finally able to start a business in India. But if you do, there will be restriction after starting the business also. So it is not, India is not a kind of country where the businesses should be established. This was the statement of the biggest industrialist of our country in 2013. So you can think by yourself what used to be there in 1990, before 1991, because liberalization was introduced in 1991. So these rules, regulations was so much rules and regulations were there. So people, not even from outside the country, not the inside people, or I can say the Indian citizens, they were not wanted to start a business because they know so many rules, regulations are there. So this was the liberalization. Now, if I talk about liberalization, it increased the foreign investment. It gives you the foreign exchange reserve. It reduce the dependency. Apart from that, if we talk about liberalization, it helps you to increase more and more businesses to get the capital inflow in the country. So after liberalization, so many companies it started investing in India. So we got the capital inflow, we got the money, because we know we have a limited resources, the physical resources, the financial resources, the human resources. We have a scarcity of all the three. So financial resources we started getting from the foreign countries after this liberalization, right? Now next. So reforms that has been done in the liberalization, all the sectors of the country got the fewer restrictions from the side of the government of India. Okay, now the phase 3, that is the liberalization. And liberalization happened in the year 1991 when the LPG policy was introduced. Do remember, this liberalization made our country easy to start business. Acha, do you have heard the name of World Bank? Yes or no? Let me know. What does World Bank do? What is the objective of World Bank? Let me know. Now, the privatization made Indian economy mixed economy. Why? Because government and private both started working together. This was the privatization. And the globalization made Indian economy open economy. Why? Because we started doing exports and imports without any restriction. Okay, let me know what is World Bank. I hope obviously you all have heard about the name of this international organization, World Bank. Yes, Jyoti ma'am, you have one attempt remaining. You can give one more attempt. That will be your October JAIIB attempt. If you clear all the 3 subjects, like your Indian economy, your AFM, and your retail banking in October JAIIB exam, then you do not have to re-register yourself. If you don't, if any one paper will be there which you have not cleared, then you have to re-register yourself. So do make sure, prepare very well for the 3 subjects, and definitely you will qualify the other 3 subjects. You have cleared the PPB, you have passed the PPB. Now you do not have to give the PPB again. Now, okay, so provide loans to the country. Providing loans to countries. Okay, everyone is saying providing loans to the country. First of all, World Bank is an international organization which helps the member countries. It helps whom? It helps the member country for the reconstruction, redevelopment, to reduce poverty, etc., etc., etc. So if you remember, or if you have heard about this particular report, there used to be one report, ease of doing business. Ease of doing business. This report used to be published by IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Okay, and that IBRD is known as World Bank only, right? So this is B, World Bank. So this ease of doing business report used to be published by World Bank. Now it is not publishing this report after 2019. World Bank has stopped publishing this report. Now what does this mean? This report means how easy it is to do a business in a particular country. If you are talking about India, how easy it is to do a business in India. That is the ease of doing business. And this will be done by liberalization, by making your policy liberal. Hana? By making taxation, your rules, regulations liberal, you will be making India a kind of country where everybody wants to do a business. Okay? Now next. So what is triggered liberalization? In 1991 or 1991 was the year that India embarked upon liberalization and opening of country's economy to the world. Now, opening of country's economy is a part of your globalization. Globalization means to link Indian economy with world economies. You started selling, purchasing goods and services between countries. Now, there were three main economic reasons that led to this move. Not only three, there was a lot of reasons. Achha, can anyone tell me why this liberalization or why this globalization or privatization was done? What was the reason? What was the reason to introduce LPG? Why we have introduced the liberalization, privatization, globalization? Why we introduced the economic reform in 1991? That is also known as new market economy or free market economy. Why government of India has taken such a major step? Let me know. If you don't know the answer, just write don't know. But do reply soon. IMF instructed, correct. Economy development, okay. To ease to business with other country, okay. What about rest? Okay. See, there are so many reasons. The first reason of introducing LPG or for introducing your new economic policy or economic reform was, the first reason was inflation was high. Rise in inflation. Prices of goods and services was keep rising in that time, and around 16% inflation was faced. What is inflation? Rise in the prices. Whenever the prices of goods and services are rising, that is known as your inflation. So the prices were continuously rising at that time. One of the reason. The second reason was that fiscal deficit was increased. Now, what is fiscal deficit? This we are going to discuss in the union budget chapter in detail. But here I will tell you in very short term that fiscal deficit is the loss, or I can say the difference between the income and expenditure of government of India. So we know government introduce budget every year on 1st of February, in which government talks about the sources of income and where they have to expend. So the statement of revenue and expenditure of government of India for the upcoming year is known as your budget. So whenever there is more expenditure and less income of government of India, in that situation government have to borrow money, because it is the responsibility of the government to do the social welfare in the country, to do the infrastructure development in the country, and for that purpose government needs money. And if there is less income and more expenditure, then government have to borrow money, and whenever government borrows money, that is known as fiscal deficit. So at that time government will have borrowed so much money from not only from RBI but from other countries also, and that's why this is the one of the reason we have to introduce the LPG. Okay, the other reason was balance of payment was deficit. Now what is balance of payment? Balance of payment is a record of what all the economic transactions between India and rest of the world. Now let's understand that in a major detail. Let's say this is India. For example, this circle is India. Okay, and whatever is outside this circle, that is rest of the world. ROW means rest of the world we are talking about. So India is almost trading with each country. Hana, India is selling certain product to any country or purchasing certain product from any country. So India almost doing trade with every country. So after at the time of doing trade, there is certain income that India got from outside the country, or you can call it from rest of the world. That is the inflow. And similarly, there are certain outflow, or in simple language, you can call inflow the income and outflow the expenditure between the India and rest of the world. So India is having certain economic transactions. Economic transactions means transactions which are related to money. So India have a lot of economic transactions with the rest of the world. In these economic transactions, India earns certain money and India spends certain money. Okay, and if we talk about the cases from where you are earning money, if from India we are doing exports, we are getting money. So that's the income for India from the rest of the world. The other countries, companies are coming to India to investment. So investment is one of the source to earn money. Grants. Grants means financial assistance. Let's say USA has seen that India is in a problem at the time of COVID-19. So USA thought that India is a very good, we have a very good relation with India. We should help Indians. And we should help our country. We should help our friend. So USA has given as a friend or as a good relations between these two countries. USA has offered certain help to us. We haven't asked for a loan. They have helped us by giving a certain fund that is known as financial assistance grants. Then apart from that, tourists are coming. So because of the tourism, money is coming into India. Okay, because of the tourism, you are getting money. Apart from that, remittances. Remittances means a lot of people from India, they are living outside, like the NRIs. So they transfer their funds, whatever they are earning there, they transfer that money in India to their relatives. So that's a remittance. So all these are the ways, or etc. All these are the ways by which we are earning money from the economic transactions, or we can say all the trades and relations from the rest of the world. And where we are spending when we import goods. When we do imports, we have to pay money to the rest of the world. So this is the expenditure for India. And all the other points will be same. Like we are investing outside India. Hana, we are going as a tourist outside India. We are providing financial assistance to Nepal or Mauritius or any country, or we are transferring funds from India to abroad. All these will be same. So this whole transaction between India and rest of the world will be maintained in a systematic record, and that systematic record is known as balance of payment. This systematic record is known as balance of payment. Let me know BOP is clear, balance of payment is clear. Let me know yes or no. BOP is clear to all? Answer quickly. So balance of payment is a systematic statement of all the economic transaction between India and rest of the world in a financial year. If same records will be maintained in India only, that will be a budget. Like if we talk about government's income and expenditure, then this will be known as budget. If you talk about government's income and expenditure, this will be known as your budget. But if you talk about the entire country's income expenditure in respect to the rest of the world, that will be known as balance of payment. Okay, clear to all. Very good. Now, so this is balance of payment was deficit. Deficit means we were in the loss. Hana, deficit means we were in the loss. It means in the economic transaction, more outflows were there in comparison to inflow. We were spending more money and we were earning very less amount of money. So that's why balance of payment went to the deficit. Deficit means loss. It means ghata. Okay. So that we have seen here. Now, apart from this, the other reason of introducing LPG was Forex reserve. was decreasing. Forex reserve means foreign currency reserve that maintained by RBI. So that left for 2 weeks only, or you can call it 14 days. Only for 14 days we left the foreign currency, or we had the foreign currency. So we will be, at that time, we were only able to make the payments of imports for the next 2 weeks. After that, we didn't have the foreign currency to make payments for the imports even. That's why one of the reason BOP was introduced. Apart from that, the another reason was public sector undertaking, means government companies were in the worst financial situation. They didn't have money. Government didn't have money. Hana, at that time, government didn't have money. It means government was not able to give money to even its public sector undertakings also. So public sector undertaking was in the loss. Okay. So after seeing all these issues, India went to World Bank and IMF to ask for a loan, to ask for a help, because India is a founding member of World Bank and IMF. Do remember, India is a founding member of World Bank and IMF, right? So India went to ask for a loan from World Bank and IMF, and they have said that if you want that we help you, you have to do what? You have to do the economic reform. You have to do what? You have to do the economic reform. So this was the compulsion from the side of IMF. This was the compulsion from side of IMF, that if you want that we provide you loan, you have to do the economic reform, because IMF or World Bank known this, that if we provide loan to India right now, they will start functioning as they are doing, and after a while they will again come to the end, because the economy was closed at that time. It means they were not export-import. MNCs were not allowed to come to India. Foreign investment were not allowed in India. And there was so many restrictions at the time of starting the business. So after seeing all these policies, regulations, IMF have said that if we provide loan to India, after a while, India will be at the same situation where it is. Because India not using its resources by themselves and not letting others use the resources so that the economy will grow. So that's why they said there is a compulsion. If you want our help, you have to do what? Economic reform. And India agreed to that economic reform, and that's what economic reform done by the country. And that economic reform is known as what? LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Clear? Let me know. The whole concept behind LPG is clear, why we have introduced this. So after we have introduced the LPG, World Bank has given us $7 billion loan. Okay, and that was the last time India have taken loan from IMF. Sunil sir, you can search by my name on Telegram. You can search directly Amanjyot Kaur. You will find the channel. Hana, you will see my photo there in the DP, and you can join that particular channel from there. Those who haven't joined the Telegram channel, you just have to search my name, Amanjyot, Amanjyot Kaur, and you will find the channel there. Around 8.1k subscribers are there. Hana? How many subscribers are there? 8.1k subscribers are there. Do join that particular Telegram channel. Okay, clear to all. Done. So that's what we have seen here. This was the major reason. Not only the 3 major reasons were there were 6 major reasons why we have introduced the LPG. Okay. So in the scenario of planned economy, India predominantly looked inwards, and this led to a slow rate of growth that is approximately 3% per annum. And this slow growth rate is known as Hindu growth rate. What is the concept Hindu growth rate is mean? It means when there is a very slow growth. And slow growth means around 3% per annum. Only 3% per annum growth will be defined as a Hindu growth rate. So Hindu growth rate simply means when there was a very slow growth in the economy, that has been defined as a Hindu growth rate. During the 1960s to 1980s, this was as against the rapid export-led growth witnessed in certain other parts of the world, especially the countries in Southeast Asia like South Korea, Thailand, and Philippines. They were at that time gaining the benefits of the globalization. But in India, we were facing loss because we haven't introduced till then. Hana, so that's why the liberalization concept was introduced in the country, or I can say the overall LPG concept was introduced in the country. Clear? So I hope this concept is clear to all of you. Now, we are going to meet again on Monday. Saturday, Sunday, we do not have paid class now. We are going to meet on Monday. And on Monday, I will be coming up with the test. Hana? So first, in the starting 15-minute of session, I will be taking the 15-minute test of yours, whatever we have covered till now in the Indian economy, Indian financial system. I'm going to take the test of that on Monday. And then we will continue from the triggered liberalization. Clear? If you guys have any doubt in today's session, let me know. And also, the next class will be on Monday. If you know your friends or colleagues who are thinking about joining the batch, do let them know that the next class will be on Monday. Clear to all? Okay, chalo. So let's hand here. See you all on Monday. And yeah, you can join the Telegram channel and you can ask your doubts here. If you have any doubt, you can ask on the Telegram also after class. Like if you guys are watching the recorded session then. Other classes schedule, I will let you know on Monday. Hana, on Monday, the date and everything, I will let you know on Monday. And the study plan proper will be available by Monday. Dipti ma'am, you can contact me on the Telegram or you can mail me on the mail ID also. Hana, on the Telegram, you can search by my name directly. For previous class, you will find the recorded sessions in your account. Hana, in the Adda 24/7 application, you will find the recorded session. You can go and watch those recorded sessions. Dipti ma'am, both PPB and Indian economy, Indian financial system. For the English medium and for bilingual, I am going to take only Indian economy, Indian financial system. Okay, in the English medium batches, I am going to take 2 subjects, that is principles and practices of banking and Indian economy, Indian financial system. And for bilingual, I am going to take Indian economy, Indian financial system only. Okay, chale, so see you all on Monday and see you all Monday and do revise this. And we will be meeting on Monday and do make sure you revise all the content because I will be coming up with a small mock test. Okay. Thank you so much, Dipti ma'am. That's so nice of you. Thank you so much. So see you all. Take care. Bye-bye.